Joining me now is the Finance Minister, Coalition campaign spokesman as well, Matthias Cormann. Minister, thanks very much for your time. First of all, your reaction to this shocking development in the UK, a Member of Parliament killed.
Look, it's awful. It's horrific. My heart goes out to her family. I mean, she's got two little kids, 3 years and 5 years old, and it's just awful. I mean, it just shows that members of Parliament, who are obviously in the public eye, in the context of some of these heated debates, can be quite exposed. And I mean, this is just—it's absolutely terrible.
Well, it's a reminder of that, and even last night, not to the same extent, of course, but a man, I'm told, rushed the stage at a climate change forum attended by Mark Butler and Senator Janet Rice of the Greens and Josh Frydenberg, and the man was apparently carrying bleach, was making a protest over the Great Barrier Reef against the minister, but the AFP intercepted that individual.
Yeah, well, in a democracy, obviously, it's very important that we robustly debate ideas and that we ultimately make decisions on the way forward through the ballot box. But when you've got events like those tragic events in the UK last night, I mean, or yesterday, it's just awful.
It is, certainly, no doubt about that, and condemned from all sides. This morning, this development, very sad one. I want to ask you about the iftar hosted by the Prime Minister. The first time that a Prime Minister has done that during the holy month of Ramadan, an effort to reach out to the Islamic community.
Well, it was, an important initiative in the context of the inclusiveness in a genuine, harmonious and multicultural society. But of course, the Prime Minister was not aware of, some of the views that were held by one of the people that were there. And as soon as he did become aware, he absolutely condemned them.
That's right. That's on the front page of The Australian. But is this an issue where, if you looked at what every clergy member of every faith had said over the years, that you might find similar comments? Because as my understanding is, the Catholic Church still doesn't accept gay people from attending Holy Communion, does it?
I'm not aware, I've got to say. But what I would say is that obviously the Prime Minister wasn't aware of the views of this particular individual, and when he did become aware, he expressed his views very clearly.
Yeah, he did indeed. So I guess the point is there double standards here for one faith? Because the Catholic Church, from my understanding, is that you're still not allowed to be a member of the Catholic faith, from my understanding, as a gay person. So while this goes further, these comments, my question to you is there a double standard here for the Islamic faith?
Well, I don't believe there's a double standard. I mean, obviously the particular views that were expressed were particularly abhorrent, and the Prime Minister rightly condemned them. And I think that irrespective of who expresses these views, the Prime Minister or anyone for that matter that has sensible views in relation to these matters would condemn any such views.
They were abhorrent, no doubt about it. But there are abhorrent things that happen and expressed by other clergy people. I want to ask you now about the live cattle trade. The Agriculture Minister says that it's not going to be banned to Vietnam. No proof yet that this cattle is from Australia. But how does this continue?
Well, obviously, we don't condone. In fact, we totally reject and condemn any animal cruelty. And in relation to a small number of abattoirs, there's some allegations that have been made, and they are being properly investigated. And in the meantime, the industry has stopped supplying, as I understand it, cattle to 3 abattoirs in Vietnam. Australian authorities are working with Vietnamese authorities in relation to the allegations that were made. But clearly, the Australian government is totally committed to appropriate treatment of animals, and is totally opposed to any animal cruelty in the context of this sort of trade whatsoever.
But given the events of a few years ago, how is this still happening today?
Well, obviously, we do have a very strong and robust regulatory framework in place, but as with any regulatory framework, if there is a breach and if there is an allegation that's made, it's got to be investigated, it's got to be acted upon, and, obviously any offending behaviour has got to be stopped.
Has the government dropped the ball on this, given it was such a massive issue only recently, made so public and obviously political as well by the ban on live cattle to Indonesia?
Well, I don't believe so. I mean, look, we've got strong laws on a whole range of things. That doesn't mean that from time to time some people don't end up breaking the law. And when that happens, obviously the appropriate action has to be taken, and the appropriate action is being taken in this circumstance.
The jobs figures had a good number, but the growth was in part-time jobs. So is there an underemployment problem here?
Well, employment growth over the past year has been strong. It's been running at 3 times the rate of the last 12 months of the Labour
part-time
government.
jobs.
And, well, the unemployment rate at 5.7% is well below what had previously been anticipated. But, you're right, there is more work to be done. We are still an economy in transition. We continue to face global economic headwinds and external risks, which is, of course, why it is so important that we continue to implement our plan for jobs and growth.
So what do you put the issue of part-time jobs as opposed to the full-time growth? What's the cause of that?
Well, our economy is growing at 3.1%, which is stronger than other parts of the world. But, obviously, we would like to continue to strengthen that further. And, when you're facing the challenges that come with slower global economic growth, when you're facing the challenges that come with significant drops in global prices for our key commodity exports and the like, and the flow-on effects that has through the economy, then obviously that is why we need to transition our economy to a stronger, more diversified economy of the future.
And we've seen some RBA data that suggests that poorer households are actually improving their position. What is that? It's obviously something you'd welcome, but what do you put that down to as in the context of a suggestion that equality in this country is actually not on the improve at the moment?
Well, what the RBA data showed is, one, that in Australia, of course, we've got a very well-targeted welfare system, and that there is, in Australia, the benefits of stronger growth are spread across the community. There is, if we have stronger growth, that means that everyone across Australia has a better opportunity to get ahead, because, of course, a strong economy is central to everything. It helps us afford the very generous social safety net that we have here in Australia, and, what the RBA data that you reference shows is that in Australia, as opposed to other parts of the world, we do this very well.
Minister, thanks for your time.
Always good to talk to you.